What's up, guys? So we are going to do a quick walkthrough on how to actually make a musical gallon man, which is going to end up looking something similar to this, and we'll take a close-up look in just a second. But let's move a little closer. For this, you are going to need 4 pieces of paper. They can be all different colors, they can be the same color, it's up to y'all. I decided to do all different colors because y'all know I like colors. You will need a marker or something to write with in order, well, I would need to be able to clearly see what you're writing on the paper. So marker or pen or pencil, as long as you can actually see what's written. And either tape, glue, staples, it's up to y'all, however you want to actually connect the things together. I'm not going to tell you that you have to use a certain thing. So 4 pieces of paper, a marker or some writing utensil, and something to make paper stick together. Pick 1 piece of your paper, and you are going to leave this completely whole. As a matter of fact, you are going to take that marker, you are going to draw a whole note. It doesn't need to look anything fancy, it just needs to look like a whole note, which looks like an egg. On the back of the paper, you are going to draw a whole rest. Remember, the whole rest looks like a hole in the ground. I'm doing this very quickly because I'm doing this during announcements. If you see any editing, it's because the announcements came on. And yeah, we don't want to listen to that. So on the back, we've got our whole rest. Now we're going to label the front where the note is. And so on the front, we've got our whole note. On the back, we've got our whole rest, and we show what it is. Now, since this is a whole piece of paper, we're just going to stick that to the side and forget about it for a second. Up next, you're going to take a piece of paper, and you can either use scissors, or you can do it the sketch-a-doodle way, which is what I'm gonna do because I have scissors in there, but this is faster. Whoops. All right. So now we have 2 halves of paper. Can you figure out what's gonna go on it? It's pretty easy, right? We're going to draw our 2 half notes. Half note, half note. Label them half. Half. Draw a half rest. Remember, the half rest looks like a hat. It looks like a hat rest. So you draw your hat rest on the back. And you end up with 2 almost halves of paper with half notes and half rests. When you get that done, we're going to set that to the side. We're going to forget about it for a little bit. Now we're going to take up another piece of paper. We're going to fold it in half and rip it. Well, almost in half. It's a little crooked. And we're going to fold it in half again, bookwise this time. And we're going to rip it. Now we have 4 pieces of paper. We are going to draw quarter notes. I'm going to stop labeling. You do need to keep labeling just so that I know that you know what they're called. But for the sake of time, I'm going to not. So we've got our quarter note and quarter rest, quarter note and quarter rest. And we have 4 quarter notes and quarter rests. Now we're going to set that off to the side and forget about it for a second. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did with that with our last piece of paper, fold it in half. And rip it. And again, always, what is this? Sandwich style? Hot dog style? Fold it the fat way. I don't know anything about the fat way. All right. And you're going to, this is what we had for our quarter notes. You're going to fold it in half again. And rip. Now, can you guess how many pieces of paper, whoops. Can you guess how many pieces of paper we have? That's right. We end up with, ooh, that's close. We end up with 8 pieces of paper. So guess what we're gonna draw? If you said 1/8 notes, that's right. 1/8 note and 1/8 rest. Remember, the 1/8 rest looks like a weird little 7. Can you kind of see it? So 1/8 note, 1/8 rest, and we're going to draw that on all of our 1/8 of paper. All right, so we've got our 1/8 notes in one pile. We've got our quarter notes in another pile. We've got our half notes in one pile. And we are going to start with our whole note. The whole note is actually going to be the head of your gallon man. If you want to, you can even draw a little face. By all means, you can make it look weird. We had some people who have made their musical gallon mans dogs and cats. We've had some that make them just look weird like that. You can use yarn to make hair if you want. It is your little dude. You can do whatever you want. Now, what kind of note goes twice into a whole note? What, if you split a whole note evenly in 2, what does it become? 2 half notes. So, and this is a little bit weird, but the half notes are going to become your body. Just go with it for right now, okay? So, using your glue, tape, staples, whatever is around that you can stick things with don't stick things with people, okay? We are going to tape our body to the head, our half notes to the whole note. Now we've got this weird little guy who has a body that's ripped in half, which is kind of morbid, but you know, it works. Next up, we're going to go to our quarter notes. How many quarter notes go into a half note? 2. So we're going to have 1 quarter note arm and 1 quarter note leg. Let's scoot this back a little bit. Okay. A little bit of tape. And y'all can take your time with this so it doesn't look a hot mess, but I'm filming this another arm, another leg. I'm filming this literally right before I go to marching band, and I can't be late to that, so yeah. Do the thing. So if we look at what we've got for our musical gallon man now, we've got an arm, well, we've got 2 arms and two legs. Quarter note goes into the half note. We have 2 quarter notes that go into the half note, 1 half note. How many quarter notes go into the whole note? The whole note is at the top. This is everything. So 1, 2, 3, 4 quarter notes go into that whole note, and 2 half notes go into the whole note. Okay? Now we're going to move on to our 1/8 note, guys. Now this is going to be a little bit weird too, because how many eighth notes go into quarter notes? Only 2. So our little guy is gonna have 2 fingers and 2 toes, which is a little weird, but you know, sometimes life just works out that way. Sometimes people don't have all their toes. Sometimes people don't have all their fingers, and you know what? We still love them anyway, because they're cool. All right. We've got our little feet going. He's going dancing. Maybe he's an alien. I don't know. He does have a kind of weird face. That's me, Miss Williams. He'll be saying stuff about people's face. All right, and our last little hand. All right. So if we're looking at our musical gallon man, let me come up a little bit. Okay. So we've got our eighth notes. 2 eighth notes go into a quarter note. 2 quarter notes, 1, 2, make a half note, will equal a half note. How many eighth notes are going to equal a half note? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 eighth notes equal a half note. How many eighth notes are going to equal a whole note? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is your musical gallon man. What I will need you to do is, if you make this, you can either submit a picture of your little guy or girl on Schoology, or you've got my Google Voice number. You can totally text it to me. So this is your virtual assignment. I just figured it'd be nice to actually do something instead of stare at a screen for a whole other weekend. All right, so if you have any questions, please let me know. You've got my number. You can contact me on Schoology, whatevskis, and have a wonderful day with your little gallon man dude.